At a dinner party, my wife threw a glass of champagne on my custom suit and laughed with her bosses. "He's just a clown who got lucky," she said loud enough for everyone to hear. I bit my tongue, but my chest burned with shame. An hour later, after she stepped inside our bedroom, she froze when she saw what I was holding. I'm 44, live just outside of Chicago in Oak Park, Illinois. I own a small architecture firm I built from the ground up over the past 15 years. We do mostly restoration work, commercial redesign, and a bit of residential luxury. Not flashy, but steady. The kind of business that starts small and grows through word of mouth and years of showing up. I've been married to my wife, Katrina 41, for almost 10 years. We met at a charity event downtown. She was a rising star in corporate finance, sharp as a blade, magnetic, driven. I was just starting to get traction with my firm back then. She always said she liked how grounded I was. I thought we were solid. Not perfect, of course. No marriages. But we laughed, we traveled, we had our routines. I thought we respected each other. It started with a dinner party hosted by her firm. Big deal. Her team had just secured a new international account, and they were celebrating at her boss's penthouse near Lakeshore Drive. I didn't want to go, honestly. I hate those kinds of parties. Lots of networking, over-complimenting, power games. But Katrina insisted. "It's important," she said, putting on her earrings. "You never come to these. Just be there for me tonight, okay?" I didn't argue. I wore my custom navy suit, tailored by a friend of mine in the city, clean lines, Italian fabric. One of the few luxuries I allow myself. The penthouse was everything you'd expect. Open concept, glass walls, modern art, a string quartet in the corner. Men in expensive watches, women in dresses that probably cost more than my monthly mortgage. I knew no one. Katrina immediately floated off into the crowd, laughing too loudly, clinking glasses. I found a quiet corner near the bar and grabbed a glass of bourbon. About an hour in, I was starting to loosen up a bit. Made small talk with a few people, nothing deep, but polite enough. Then I saw Katrina across the room, standing with a group of her coworkers and her boss, Frederick. She waved me over, laughing. I smiled, glad to be included. But the moment I reached them, everything shifted. "Oh, there he is," she said loudly, eyes already glassy from champagne. "My husband. The man, the myth, the suburban legend." I chuckled awkwardly. "Hey, everyone. He's just a lucky clown who figured out how to stack bricks," she said, grinning. "Isn't that right, babe?" I stared at her. Her boss laughed. So did the others. I opened my mouth to say something, but before I could, she tipped her champagne flute forward and poured the contents down the front of my suit. A full glass, cold and sticky, seeping through the fabric. The group erupted in laughter. Katrina waved a hand. "Relax, it's a joke. Don't be so uptight. You should see your face." I didn't say a word. I felt my cheeks burn, my ears buzzing. I smiled, stiffly, wiped my jacket, and excused myself. Walked out without saying goodbye. Outside, the winter air hit like a slap. I stood on the sidewalk for a while, unsure where to go. I eventually called a car, rode home in silence, and sat in our bedroom in the dark for over an hour. My chest was tight the whole time. Not from the champagne. From something worse. Shame. And then, curiosity. A gnawing urge that wouldn't go away. When I got home, I went into the study, still in that wet suit. I wasn't even thinking clearly. I just wanted to distract myself. That's when I remembered the iPad we keep in the office, the one Katrina uses for travel and sometimes for Zoom calls. She never logs out of anything. I shouldn't have opened it. I know that. But something about the way she laughed at me, the coldness, the performance of it all, made me want to know what had changed. Because something had changed. The first thing that popped up was a notification from messages. "Don't forget the necklace. You left it on my nightstand last time," winking face. I stared at it for a full minute. Then I opened the thread. Frederick. Her boss. It wasn't just one message. There were dozens. Months of them. Photos. Nicknames. Lunch breaks were anything but lunch. "I can't believe you let him wear that suit. It's almost cruel. Don't worry, babe. He'll never catch on. I can't wait until it's just the two of us in Bali." I scrolled until my hands shook. There it was, everything I needed to know. While I was working 60-hour weeks building my firm's biggest project yet, she was playing house with her boss in hotel rooms downtown. When she came home, I was still sitting on the bed, the iPad next to me. She kicked off her heels, singing something to herself. Then she saw me, and she froze. "What are you doing?" she asked, her voice suddenly alert. I held up the iPad. "You left your messages open." Silence. "You want to tell me how long this has been going on?" Her mouth opened. Closed. Don't lie," I said. "Please don't lie." She sat down slowly, like her knees couldn't support her. 5 months, she whispered. "You poured a drink on me and laughed with your boss. The same guy you're screwing." I was drunk. It was stupid. I didn't mean it. "You meant every word," I said. "You humiliated me in front of your entire firm." I didn't plan it. I swear. I was trying to be funny. I didn't think. "No, you didn't," I snapped. "And you haven't for months. Why didn't you just leave me, Katrina? If you were done." I wasn't done, she said, tears finally forming. I just felt invisible. You were always working. Always talking about buildings, contracts, permits. And Frederick, he saw me. He made me feel wanted. I stared at her. He's your boss. He used you. You think that's love? I don't know, she whispered. I don't even know what I want anymore. Well, I said, getting up. I know what I want. She looked up. What? To not be married to someone who thinks I'm a joke. I walked out of the bedroom, heart pounding, head spinning. And I haven't finished telling the rest of it yet. I didn't sleep that night. I just laid on the couch, staring at the ceiling, listening to every creak in the house like it meant something. Katrina didn't come out of the bedroom. I heard her crying, once. Not sobbing, more like a low, pitiful sound. Like she didn't want me to hear it. Or maybe she didn't want to hear herself. The next morning, I showered, got dressed, and took Bear, our dog, for a long walk. I needed to think. Bear was the only living creature I felt connected to in that house. When I came back, Katrina was sitting at the kitchen table, red-eyed, clutching a mug of coffee with both hands. I'll quit my job, she said, her voice hoarse. I didn't ask you to. I'll block him. Never talk to him again. I can go to therapy. We can go to therapy. I looked at her. You want to fix this with therapy? I asked, not angry, just tired. After what you did. I made a mistake. No, you made a series of choices. Repeated ones. She winced. Please, don't leave. We can work through this. People do. Do they? I said, walking past her to the fridge. Do they do it after being mocked in front of strangers? After being publicly embarrassed and lied to for half a year? It wasn't about you. Yes, it was. I snapped, spinning around. You didn't just cheat on me, Katrina. You dragged me into a room full of your colleagues and poured a goddamn drink on me like I was a joke. That wasn't an accident. That was cruel. She started crying again. I know, she whispered. I hate myself for it. I don't even recognize the person I've become. I didn't respond. I sat down at the far end of the table. There was a long silence. Then she said, why didn't you fight back? That night, you just stood there. I let out a bitter laugh. Because I didn't want to give you the satisfaction. She flinched. You think you looked powerful? I asked. All I saw was someone desperate for validation from people who don't care about her. Katrina opened her mouth, closed it again. I'm moving out, I said. For now. Her eyes widened. You're just going to leave? No. I'm going to remove myself. There's a difference. I packed a few bags and left that afternoon. Stayed at a hotel for the first 2 nights. Then I found a month-to-month loft rental in the West Loop. Bare walls, exposed brick, the kind of place you only live in when you don't want to commit to anything. It was quiet and cold, but it was mine. I didn't tell anyone at first. Not my brother, not my parents. I didn't want to hear the questions. I didn't want to explain something I still didn't understand. But word got out, eventually. 3 days after I moved out, I got a call from my younger sister, Corinne. Hey, she said gently. I saw Katrina's Instagram. She's posted nothing but moody quotes and black and white selfies. What's going on? I sighed. We're going through something. Did she cheat? She asked. Just like that. No hesitation. I didn't answer. SHD, she whispered. It was her, wasn't it? I still didn't say anything. Corinne didn't press. She just said, I'm here if you need anything. You don't have to talk if you don't want to. But you're not alone. That meant more than she probably realized. 2 weeks after I left, I got a call from someone unexpected. Frederick. I almost didn't answer. But curiosity got the better of me. Hello. Hi. This is awkward, he said. It's Frederick. From the firm. Yeah, I know who it is. I just wanted to say, I'm sorry. I know this is long overdue, and I regret the way things went down. I stayed silent. She told me she was unhappy. That you were distant. I should have known better. You should have stayed away from a married woman, I said calmly. You're not 20. You knew better. He sighed. I ended things with her. Oh, I said. You ended it. Well, thank you for your moral contribution. I deserve that. Damn right. I'm stepping down from my role, he added after a pause. HR got involved. It was messy. Actions have consequences, I said. Before he could say more, I hung up. The weeks that followed were strange. I went back to work. My team was supportive, though I didn't give them details. My business partner, Cal, pulled me aside one afternoon. You're not as sharp as usual, he said. And I'm not trying to pressure you. Just, if you need to fall apart for a bit, do it. We've got your back. I nodded. And I did let myself fall apart at night. Alone. In silence. I'd pour a drink, sit in the dark, and replay every moment of the last year. I kept thinking about the version of Katrina I used to know. The woman who once waited outside in the cold just to surprise me with lunch, who cried when I showed her the first house I ever renovated, who wrote me little notes on napkins like we were still dating. Where did that woman go? And when did she stop loving me? I wasn't ready to answer those questions yet. About a month after I left, I ran into Katrina again. We'd agreed to meet at a coffee shop in River North to talk logistics, finances, storage, what to do about the house. She looked thinner, tired. She wasn't wearing any makeup, which was unusual for her. Hi, she said softly, sitting down across from me. Hey, we talked for a while. Cordial. Detached. When the coffee arrived, she said, I've been going to therapy. That's good. I've learned a lot. About myself. About how I sabotage things. How I push people away when I'm afraid. I didn't say anything. She looked down at her cup. I still love you. I looked away. Out the window. The sky was gray. I think, she continued, that I've loved you this whole time. But I didn't know how to handle feeling like you didn't need me anymore. I needed you, I said quietly. I just didn't know I had to prove it every day to be safe. Katrina reached out, then pulled her hand back. I don't expect you to forgive me, she said. I just needed to tell you that I'm sorry. And that I'm trying. I nodded. I don't know what's going to happen, I told her. But I'm not rushing anything. I understand. We sat there a while longer. Not talking. Just sitting. I got the sense she wanted to ask me something. But she never did. And I didn't offer anything either. About 2 weeks after that coffee meeting, I finally called my parents. I hadn't told them anything, and I knew they'd be hurt that I waited so long. My mother picked up, her voice bright the way it always is when she sees my name pop up. Sweetheart, we haven't heard from you in weeks. Everything okay? I hesitated. No, I said finally. It's not. Her voice dropped instantly. What happened? I told her everything. Not in one breath, but in a slow, cautious unraveling. I told her about the dinner party, the humiliation, the cheating. I left out some of the graphic details. Didn't feel right to say them out loud to my mother, but she understood enough. By the time I was done, she was quiet. Then, she said something I didn't expect. Oh, honey, I had a feeling. That stopped me cold. What do you mean? She changed. Over the last year. I noticed it when you two came over last Thanksgiving. She barely looked at you. She was on her phone half the time. Why didn't you say anything? Because I figured you saw it too. And sometimes, we choose not to push. I'm sorry. I swallowed hard. It's not your fault. No, but it hurts just the same. My dad got on the line after that. He wasn't as gentle. That's his way. She disrespected you, he said flatly. It's not just cheating. She humiliated you publicly. That's a different kind of cruelty. I know. What are you gonna do? I don't know yet. Well, he said, when you do, don't half-a it. Whatever choice you make, own it. That stuck with me. In the middle of all this, I kept working. My business was one of the few constants left in my life. We were finishing up a big project, a historic theater restoration out in Evanston. It gave me something to focus on, something that felt like progress. But even that wasn't safe from the mess I was in. One day, Cal came into my office holding his phone. You've seen this? He asked, dropping it in front of me. It was a Reddit thread. Not this sub, a different one. Finance related. But there was a screenshot of an anonymous confession. Something like, I had an affair with my married coworker. His wife was also married. It blew up. I think we both lost more than we gained. I hate myself. The comments were BR Tao. The tone was too familiar. She posted this. I asked, reading the comments. No idea. Could have been anyone. But it's making rounds. And someone tagged your company name. Just a heads up. So now it was public. People knew. I thought I'd care more. But I didn't. I was already numb to the gossip. In a way, it helped. It took some of the pressure off. No more pretending everything was fine. Around the same time, I got a call from our real estate agent. So, Katrina's been in touch, she said carefully. She wants to know what you want to do about the house. I sighed. What did she say? She said she'd prefer to keep it, but she can't afford the full mortgage alone. She asked if you'd be willing to either sell or do a buyout. I paused. The house wasn't just a building. I designed the renovation myself. Every beam, every corner. I'd built our master bedroom from scratch. Laid the tile in the kitchen by hand. But now, all I could see when I pictured it was that night. The glass of champagne. The laughter. The look on her face. Put it on the market, I said. I'm done with it. Katrina called me later that night. You're selling the house? She asked. Just like that. You can't afford it. I'm not going to keep paying for a place I won't live in. It's our home. No, I said. It was. Now it's a shelf full of broken things. I was willing to do anything to fix this, she said, her voice starting to shake. Doing anything doesn't include keeping a house that holds nothing but regret. She didn't respond. I continued. You made your choice, Kat. And I'm making mine. Somewhere around the 3rd month of separation, something started to shift. I slept better. I smiled more. I started going to the gym again, something I hadn't done in years. Not to get revenge fit or anything like that. I just wanted to feel strong again, in my body, not just my head. I reconnected with old friends. Guys I'd lost touch with because I was too busy or married or whatever excuse I'd been using. One of them, Jared, invited me out to a Bulls game. We used to go all the time before life got complicated. He brought along his cousin, Angela. Divorced, 2 kids, sharp wit. We didn't flirt, but we talked. She had this way of asking direct questions without making you uncomfortable. You seem like a guy who just got hit by a truck, she said after we'd grabbed drinks. I kind of did, I admitted. Well, she said, lifting her beer, you're still standing. That's something. We exchanged numbers that night, just as friends. I wasn't ready for anything more. Still am not. But it was the first time in a long time that I felt seen without being evaluated. Meanwhile, Katrina kept reaching out. Not constantly, not desperately, but enough. One night, she emailed me a voice note. Just her talking. No script, no polish. I wake up and reach for you sometimes. Still, I think I'm talking to you. And then I realize it's just the dog snoring. I know I did this. I know I can't take it back. I just wanted to say, I miss you. I listened to it twice. Then I archived it. That's where things stand right now. House is in escrow. We've both agreed to keep the divorce civil. No lawyers unless absolutely necessary. No children involved. Thank God. I'm living in a space that smells like drywall and takeout. But it's my space. A few days after we accepted the offer on the house, Katrina's mom called me. I hadn't spoken to her since the whole thing began. Truth be told, I wasn't even sure if she knew the full story. Katrina and her mom were close, but close in that weird, selective way. Like they could talk daily and still hide the most important parts from each other. Luca, she said, her voice unusually quiet. I know I'm probably the last person you want to hear from. I leaned back in the kitchen chair, phone pressed to my ear. Depends on what you want to talk about. She hesitated, then continued. I just want you to know. I'm sorry. For what you did. It was wrong. And it wasn't who you married. I swallowed. Thanks. She's not doing well, she added quickly, like she needed to get it out. She's lost a lot. You. Her job. Her reputation. And yes, I know that doesn't excuse anything. I didn't say anything. I just thought you should know that she's trying to take responsibility. And I know it doesn't fix anything. But we raised her better than this. I almost laughed. Not out of humor. More that dry, cracked sound you make when you don't know what else to feel. She's an adult, I said. She made her choices. No one forced her. I know. I just didn't want to pretend like nothing happened. That part. I appreciated it. There were too many people who'd gone silent or neutral, as if staying out of it somehow made them noble. We ended the call on a neutral note. I told her I hoped she was okay. She told me she'd always considered me family. I didn't have the heart to say it, but at that moment, I realized that part of my life, the whole branch of in-laws, holidays, text chains, and inside jokes, was already gone, like a tree that had been cut off at the trunk. A week later, I was back at the house to grab the last of my things. The place was emptying out, slowly but steadily. Rooms that had once echoed with dinner prep and music now felt hollow, like the soul had been pulled out of the walls. I was in the study, the one I used to call my thinking room, when I noticed the built-in safe in the corner closet was ajar. We both used it, mostly for papers, backups of IDs, old lease agreements. I figured she had already emptied it out, but something made me check. Inside was a small leather-bound notebook and a velvet pouch. I took out the pouch first. It held the necklace I gave her on our 5th anniversary, a delicate gold chain with a tiny emerald stone. She used to wear it every day. Beneath it was the notebook. I flipped it open. The first page had my name on it. Just, Luca. Things I'll never say out loud. I hesitated. Then I read it. It wasn't long. Maybe 20, 30 pages. Handwritten. Messy. Emotional. Some entries are just a few sentences, others long rants. Some of it was pure guilt. I don't even know when I stopped being grateful. He's kind. Steady. So damn solid. And I kept needing something. Wilder? What? Other parts were painful to read. I feel like a shadow in his world. He shines and I stand next to him, and no one sees me. I thought he'd be proud of me, but I think he just tolerates me. But then, he makes the bed every morning, even if we fought the night before. That used to mean something. Why doesn't it anymore? I miss his hands, his calm voice, his stupid jokes. God, I hate that I ruined this. The worst part is, he'll survive this. He'll move on. He'll find someone who sees him clearly. And I'll still be the girl who poured champagne on him like a goddamn coward. I sat in that empty room with the notebook on my lap for nearly an hour. Part of me wanted to take it. Maybe as proof of something. Or a keepsake of what could have been. But I didn't. I put it back in the safe. Closed it. Locked it. That same evening, I got a voicemail from Frederick. I hadn't spoken to him since our short, unpleasant call weeks earlier. This one was different. Luca, I know you don't owe me anything. And I don't deserve forgiveness. But I need you to hear this. I've been on the other side of an affair before. Years ago. My ex-wife. That pain. It never left me. I became the thing I swore I'd never be. And it's wrecking me. Not for the scene Dow. Not for the consequences. But because you didn't deserve what happened. You were the one guy in that room who didn't play games. And I spit on that. I'll carry that with me forever. He ended the call with a choked apology. I didn't respond. But I replayed it once, just to make sure I'd heard it right. 3 months into separation, I filed for divorce. No big dramatic announcement. No courtroom scene. Just paperwork. Delivered by mail. Katrina signed them and mailed them back within a week. No notes. No handwritten anything. Just her signature. It was strange how anticlimactic it felt. We had built 10 years together, shared a life, a dog, a mortgage, friends. We had routines, shows we loved, music we both sang along to in the car. All of it, gone in a FedEx envelope. The lawyer called to confirm the next steps. You'll get a court date to finalize, he said. Usually quick. No kids, no major assets in dispute. It's just a matter of formality now. A formality. That's what love becomes at the end. A box to check. Angela and I have continued texting. Not romantic, not yet. Sometimes she sends memes. Sometimes I send photos of Bear passed out on the floor like he's had a rough day. Once, she dropped off a plate of lasagna at my door because I mentioned I hadn't cooked in a while. I don't believe in sad men eating takeout every night, her note said. We sat on my front steps and talked for a while that night. About everything. Her divorce. Her kids. My mess. You're carrying it well, she said, nudging my shoulder. I'm carrying it, I said. Not sure about the well part. We both laughed. It felt easy. It felt possible. About 6 weeks before the divorce was finalized, I got a birthday card in the mail. No return address. Just my name and my new address, handwritten. Inside was a simple folded card with a watercolor painting on the front, something generic. Mountains. Blue sky. Calm. Inside, in tight, neat handwriting, was, Happy birthday. I'm sorry for all of it. And I know you don't owe me anything. But I hope, someday, you'll remember me as more than just the woman who broke your heart. No name. But I knew it was from her. I stared at it for a few minutes. I didn't feel sad. I didn't feel angry. I just felt done. That was the gift. The final divorce hearing was uneventful. Zoom call. 15 minutes. We both said our names, agreed everything was correct. The judge thanked us for keeping it civil. And that was that. 10 years of marriage. Gone in less time than it takes to brew coffee. After the call, I sat there in silence, my laptop still open, the screen fading to black. It was strange how light I felt. And yet, like there was this itch. This unresolved thing hanging in the air. That's when I had the idea. Not a cruel plan. Not anything illegal or vengeful in a toxic way. Just a reminder. A mirror. I pulled out the old flash drive I had backed up everything onto the night I discovered her affair, the screenshots, the text messages, the hotel confirmations, and a few key voice memos she'd left on our shared voicemail. All of it. I put it all in a neat folder, titled it Growth, and uploaded it to a private Dropbox link. Then I sent a simple email to Katrina's old firm's HR department. Subject line, Professional Conduct, FYI only message. No further action needed. Just felt you should be aware of the professional ethics behind your former executive's departure, in case anyone ever tries to paint a different picture. I didn't even sign it. Didn't need to. They already knew. But that file, that ensured she'd never get the story rewritten in her favor. That she wouldn't pivot the narrative into some sanitized version of a private, mutual separation. She would never be able to re-enter that industry under false pretenses. A friend of mine in HR later told me someone at the firm leaked parts of it, quietly, behind closed doors. Apparently, she'd been trying to freelance as a consultant again. That option dried up real quick. No dramatic explosion. No screaming matches. Just reality. A reputation reset. A quiet consequence. Around that same time, I decided to write an article. Not about her. Not directly. It was a personal essay about architectural design, but laced with metaphor. We don't notice a foundation rotting until the floor collapses. But after the rubble clears, we rebuild. Not with vengeance, but with better tools. It went semi-viral on LinkedIn. A few architectural blogs picked it up. I got emails from strangers, divorced people, burned out creatives, even one guy who said, I sent this to my ex-wife. Thank you for putting it in words I couldn't find. Katrina never messaged me about it, but I know she read it. She always subscribed to my professional newsletter. Angela and I stayed in touch. One night, months later, we met for coffee, not on a stoop or after a chance encounter. A real plan, a real table, a real conversation. We laughed about everything, divorce lawyers, dog custody, awkward singlehood. At one point, she leaned in and said, You ever think about how many people would have just stayed, gone numb, settled, put on the we're fine mask for the next 20 years? I nodded. Almost did. She smiled. Well, glad you didn't. Now, I live in a restored brownstone closer to downtown. Bear is still with me. Older, grayer, but just as loyal. I cook more. I sleep better. I smile without faking it. The pain is still there, sometimes. It sneaks in on holidays or on quiet Sunday mornings. But it doesn't own me anymore. As for Katrina, last I heard, she moved to a smaller city. New name on LinkedIn. Still working her way back up. I don't hate her. I don't even wish her ill. But I did leave her a copy of that watercolor birthday card on her LinkedIn page the day she posted about fresh starts. Just the card. No comment. She deleted the post a few hours later. So yeah, Reddit. I guess that's the story. I got humiliated in public, cheated on by the woman I trusted most, and walked away without screaming, slashing tires, or burning bridges. Instead, I built something better. For myself. And that's the best revenge of all.